You are one text away from a bad night. That is the whole problem. Someone sends a sharp message or drops a half-true rumor, and your hand moves before your head does. This lesson is about that moment. The first rule is simple. Name the bait before you answer it. Not every message deserves a reaction. Not every insult is a mission. Sometimes the point is to get you emotional so they can steer the room. So look at the phone and ask one plain question. What is this asking me to become? Angry? Defensive? Needy? Loud? That question changes the game. Because once you see the bait, you stop treating the feeling as a command. Epictetus is useful here. His basic point is that the first impression is only a report. It is not a verdict. It is not an order. You still get a choice. That is the hidden rule people miss. Drama works by speed. It needs you hurried, heated, and eager to prove something. If you answer inside that rush, you have already given away position. The calmer move is not passive. It is sharper. You name the bait, and you pause long enough to see the shape of it. The next time this happens, do not ask, how do I win this? Ask, is this a real issue or a hook? If it is a hook, you do not bite. You breathe once, you put the phone down for a minute, you let the room stay loud without joining it. That small refusal is the start of self-command. Rule 2. Let the body cool before you decide what this means. Picture the same moment, but now your chest is tight, your jaw is set, and your thumb is already building a reply. That rush feels like clarity. It is not clarity, it is heat. And heat makes simple things look personal. This is where most people make the mistake. They think a fast reply proves strength. It usually proves that the other person got inside your timing. The hidden cost is that your words arrive carrying your pulse, not your judgment. Then the message becomes bigger than the message. A small slight turns into a long evening of escalation. Seneca matters here because he understood anger as a fire that grows when you feed it with imagination. You do not only react to what happened, you react to what you start rehearsing. You imagine the comeback, the insult, the worst meaning, the future argument. Now the body is arguing with a story. So do this instead. Put a delay between feeling and reply. 1 minute if you can, 10 if you need it. Walk to the sink, fill a glass with water, put the phone face down. The point is not to suppress everything. The point is to stop the first wave from making the decision. Do not type while hot. Do not reread the message like a prosecutor building a case. Next time, give the body a job that has nothing to do with winning. That one small gap often saves the whole situation. Rule 3. Ask what role you owe here before you ask what feels satisfying. This is the question that gets overlooked because ego hates it. You are in the meeting, the family dinner, the group chat, the loading dock, the car outside the gym, and somebody clearly wants a scene. Your instinct says, say everything, clear the air, set them straight, prove you are right. But your duty may be smaller, calmer, and more useful than that. Maybe your role is to correct one fact and stop. Maybe your role is to protect the team, not perform your wounded pride. Maybe your role is to leave the room before the whole thing becomes a public show. That is where Panætius helps. His view of Stoic duty was not about dramatic purity. It was about fitting your conduct to the person and situation you are actually in. In plain words, do not act like every conflict needs the same script. A parent, a teammate, a partner, a manager, a friend, each role has a different clean move. The wrong instinct is to make your ego the center of the room. The cost is that you turn a practical moment into a personal referendum. Then you stop asking what helps here and start asking, how do I defend my image? That shift is expensive. Next time drama reaches for you, use this test. What is the smallest honest action that keeps faith with my role? Maybe it is one sentence, maybe it is silence, maybe it is saying we can talk later. The calmer option is often smaller than your pride wants. Rule 4. Use fewer words when the other person wants a fight. You know this one already, even if you ignore it. The chat gets longer, the explanation gets cleaner, the tone gets more careful, and somehow the room gets worse. That is because drama loves fuel, and explanation can become fuel very fast. The mistake is thinking that more detail will make you safer. Often it does the opposite. You start over-explaining, and now every sentence gives them something new to twist, quote, or challenge. The hidden cost is not just time, it is exposure. The more you talk, the more material you hand over. A useful rule is this: Answer the issue, not the emotion bait. If they ask a real question, answer it plainly. If they want a performance, do not audition. Seneca would call this a place where anger wants to multiply itself through words. The quieter answer often has more force because it has no panic in it. So keep a short line ready. I saw your message. I do not agree. I am not discussing this here. We can talk when it is calmer. Those are not weak lines. They are clean lines. They do not invite a second fight inside the first one. Do not add 3 apologies where one clear sentence would do. Do not write a paragraph to a person who is clearly looking for a spark. Next time, trim the reply until only the useful part remains. Short is not rude when the other person is trying to drag you into a storm. Rule 5. Do not chase the story they are trying to pull you into. This is the midpoint trap, and it is sneaky. At first, you think you are just defending yourself. Then you notice you are mentally living inside the whole argument. You are replaying the tone of their voice. You are imagining what they meant. You are building the case in your head while washing dishes, driving home, or lying in bed. That is how drama spreads. Not just through the room, but through your private attention. The wrong instinct is to keep rehearsing the scene because it feels like preparation. The cost is that the fight keeps taking your time after the actual conversation is over. Here is the test. If you are no longer acting, but only replaying, you are feeding the fire. That is where Epictetus is helpful again. You do not have to keep accepting every impression as if it deserves your full belief. A thought can visit without being promoted. A story can knock without being housed. So when the replay starts, break it on purpose. Stand up. Change rooms. Wash one plate. Take the dog out. Read the message once, then stop looking at it. The goal is not denial. The goal is to stop feeding a loop that makes you smaller. A simple line helps here. I have enough information to wait. That line cuts the urge to keep digging for more emotional certainty. Next time you catch yourself replaying the argument for the 10th time, notice the trick. You are not solving it anymore. Rule 6. Set the line, then stop talking. A lot of people think boundaries need a speech. They do not. In fact, long speeches often invite more debate. If the other person keeps pushing after you have already been clear, the move is not to become more passionate. It is to become more final. You can say, I am not available for this conversation right now. Or I have answered that. Or, if we cannot keep this calm, I am done for tonight. Then stop. No lecture. No extra justification. No nervous smile that says you do not mean it. The line only works if your behavior matches it. The wrong instinct is to keep persuading someone who is no longer listening. The hidden cost is that you confuse being reasonable with being endless. But calm is not endless. Calm is precise. It knows when one clear sentence is enough. Panaetius fits here because he would have cared about conduct that matches your place in the world. If your role is to be steady, then steady means you do not keep chasing approval after the boundary is set. You become the person who can hold a line without turning it into a performance. Do not threaten a boundary you will not keep. Do not say, I'm leaving 4 times and then stay for 20 minutes. Next time, choose one sentence, one action, one exit if needed. The fewer the words, the less room there is for their drama to live inside you. Rule 7. Leave without performing superiority. This matters because some people can get out of drama, but they do it badly. They exit with sarcasm. They exit with a final insult. They exit like they want everyone to see how above it they are. That is not calm. That is a different kind of theater. The mistake is subtle. You think you're staying strong because you refuse the fight. But if you leave while broadcasting contempt, you're still inside the same ego game. The cost is that you hand the conflict the last image of yourself that is bigger, harsher, and less stable than you need to be. The cleaner move is boring in the best way. End the conversation. Put the phone away. Turn back to the task. Leave the room if you must. No dramatic exit line. No victory lap. No final speech for the audience in your head. This is where the Stoic turn becomes visible. Calm is not coldness. Calm is refusing to be owned by the moment. Epictetus would say the point is still your judgment, not their noise. Seneca would warn that anger loves a parting shot, and he is right. That last shot often keeps the argument alive long after the person is gone. Next time you exit, keep your face neutral, your words finished, and your steps ordinary. Let the moment die without a ceremony. The strongest leave quietly, when quiet is what protects the next hour. Rule 8. Return only when it helps. Not every conflict needs to be abandoned forever. Some things need a clean follow-up once the heat is gone. The test is simple. Can you speak now without trying to win, punish, or relive the insult? If not, wait longer. This is the part people miss when they think calm means walking away from everything. It does not. Calm means choosing the right time, the right size, and the right purpose. You may need to circle back to the work issue, the family issue, or the relationship problem, but you return to solve, not to reopen the wound. So next time, write the reply later if it still matters. Start with the fact, not the accusation. Keep it short. Here's what needs fixing. Here's where I stand. Here's what I can do. That kind of message respects reality. It does not feed the storm. Panaetius, Seneca, and Epictetus all point toward the same practical shape here. Your role matters. Your judgment matters. Your timing matters. You do not have to join every fire. You do not have to carry the smoke home, and you do not have to become hard just to stay unshaken. The useful rule is simple enough to remember. Name the bait, cool the body, check the roll, keep the reply short, set the line, leave without a performance, and return only when the move is clean. That is how you keep your power without becoming cold. If this lesson helped you, like the video, subscribe to the Inner Citadel, and comment with the situation you want handled with Stoic calm.